My name is Cisse Love. I've had the privilege of being a part of a new pilot program, I don't know what you call it, where I'm getting an opportunity to go around parts of Washtenaw County in the area of Ypsilanti, the city of Ypsilanti, and clean up some of those tent resident spaces. Once people have moved out, you can't unsee what life is like for people who are homeless living in a tent. I'm not asking you to care. I'm challenging you to remain humane. I'm asking you to think about someone besides your problems and to make sure that you look at how those who are currently sitting in office, no matter what party you're in, is handling it. I'm going to assume we're all humane because we're all human, right? It's so easy to dismiss someone else's issue as social problems. I thank the president who started that. These are economic development problems. This government knows and has known since 1640 that most of its indentured servants, it's young white males that came over here that were working in the field in 1640s, before the 1640s. They knew that poor living conditions, poor food quality led to reaching for substances, early death, and some mentally debilitating circumstances. In other words, a really hard life will cost you your emotional balance, the functionality of your mind, your peace and serenity, your ability to rise up. And let's not forget the most important one. You're trying to self-soothe and reach for substances. Back then it was alcohol, and it's still that. If you haven't noticed, the amount of liquor stores in impoverished neighborhoods where those other two conditions exist, they allow unlimited amount. There's like zoning. You'd think you'd limit them per capita, since alcoholism is an issue, and every county and every city needs to make true, like really true, rehabilitative responses besides an AA meeting where people can go and get help. I wonder where we stand on that here in the city of Ypsilanti and Washtenaw County. I need to look at that. That's a federal guideline. Anyway, I thank Corn for that. Appreciate you, man. Listen, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I learned that early on. So I went and looked it up. He was right. You're required to provide assistance to people who want to get off of alcohol, but I see more alcoholics out here than I do see chaotic users, or I see a mix of both. But our government knew. Don't wonder why your taxpayers go to keeping people homeless, poor, and in poor living conditions. See, we serve a purpose there. One, we're less likely to rise up and try to get back our land over here. Some of us are indigenous. That's a real threat for some. Two, rise up and get back at people for slavery. I'm pretty sure people are paranoid about that. I mean, hell, I would be. I don't think anybody cares about that because none of us actually were enslaved. But now there's a good chance we will be, or left to die. Three, people have been taught that we're not real human, and I think on some level you all still believe that. And so ignorance can be passed down from generation to generation, but more importantly, racial memory. A destabilized genome, yeah, that can happen too, like certain types of mental illness. We need to consider sociopaths, give birth to sociopaths. Next, I need you to consider taxpayers, even those of you who are living in your cars or sharing an apartment with some kids. Yeah, I've been through that. It's not fun. Or wondering why you can't get medical insurance back for 2 years because of your time down. The climb up is almost impossible. The bridges have been burned that allow people to naturally lift themselves up after a fight with a substance. And if you don't have medical insurance, it's going to help you if you don't have like a long-term rehabilitative care program that you can actually act out, you're more likely to go back to using. And that includes stable housing, which is something, if people had it as children, come on now, we wouldn't have such harsh lives. So many things wouldn't happen, including a dysregulated nervous system, childhood ACEs, all the reasons that you wind up putting people on meds later. It's almost as if the government wants that to happen because that's all they appropriate. And government housing is not made at the rate that poor people are. As you can see, hundreds of thousands of women released from their jobs, regardless of your education or color. A lot of us are single. We can do better. Gotta do better. Peace out.